hanging out today. It's been a day. Got a lot going on and had a lot going on this last weekend. So we got a dumpster and we decided to clean house. So that's what we had been doing, and my husband has been cleaning out the garage. It's been something that we've been wanting to do for years, but we just hadn't got around to it or didn't feel the need at the time to do it or whatever. But yeah, so we did that. We've been doing some other things and just getting ready, and then it's just been what the problem is with all of that is it had this last weekend. It's just been a rainy, nasty mess. I don't know if you guys are affected by that, but the rain, it was just like a nasty, rainy weekend, cold. It's just everything all wrapped into one. So we got some stuff done, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Hello, my one spectator. Thank you for coming in. Thank you guys for joining in. It's been crazy. Yeah, today is 82. Yeah, I do not want rain anymore. I'm done with the rain. If it doesn't rain again all summer, I will be happy, even if my plants suffer a little bit. I'm just tired of rain. This last weekend, it was like the high of 48, and that was for June 1st even. It was just nuts. I'm like, I'm tired of this crap. I want my summer, you know? So hopefully the weather can get back on track and my plants can thrive a little bit more. I know with all this rain, it just not so hot. It wasn't great. I know my tomato plants have been looking really sad. You do need rain, but you don't need that amount of rain. So, Pemby Panther, thank you for coming in, Pemby. So, the kids are outside getting crazy. Yeah, so thank you all for coming in. Make sure you give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Helps me in the algorithm. It just helps in general. Please give a thumbs up. So anyway, it is Monday. It's just not a very nice Monday. It's just been super busy. I had the most of what I wanted planted by June. Yeah, we don't have hardly any. Well, I have some of my stuff, but like I have flowers and stuff. I couldn't even plant it. I didn't want to because it was so cold out. I was just worried that it was not going to be beneficial to the plant. So I need to get out there. What we're thinking, I'm having issues with like chipmunks and stuff eating my sunflower seeds. So I think I'm going to go ahead and get some of those started in pots and wait until they pop up and then plant them. I have done that in the past just to kind of freaking help with it, because I know as soon as they pop up, they're getting eaten. So I've like have 0 sunflowers right now. Yeah. Roblox. Noob. Hello, thank you for coming in. So just been kind of crazy. And today was the first day that the weather's actually been nice. So that's satisfying. This week is going to be really busy. My son's graduating from kindergarten, and then he's going to the zoo. It's the last week of school, so things have just been absolutely insane around here. And I did not feel good at all last night, and I didn't feel good this morning. I did some running around yesterday, and we were playing, and I hurt my leg again, so I was like kind of in pain, and so yeah, I really done myself in. So this morning I could like barely move. Well, I am so glad that you finished school. My son is in kindergarten, so so there's that. I just need to add a few more things in the garden and get some things done. And I know things don't need watered right now because we just had a ton of rain. Yeah, he's going to the zoo this week with his class, and then his grandma's going to meet him up there. So, and then take him home. So they're going to have a good time. So, class field trip. Turning up the air. Holy bejeebus. There we go. Wasn't planning on just sitting in my car with the air, but I kind of have to. So, what a mess. Okay, so I told you guys about the teacher who has all these beds over here. They're like raised beds, and he says that they're like native. It's a native plant. It looks like such crap, guys. And he's sitting out there, but he's not doing anything. He's like sitting, like they put a bench out there. Like, I wouldn't want to sit there. I could get ticks or something. It's hard to be patient and wait for the flowers to grow, for sure. I've been waiting for my marigolds. They have popped up and everything, but I'm waiting patiently. Yeah, for real. Oh, I'll show you. Hold on. That's it right there. Native plant, raised beds. And it's like, let me flip this around. And it's right as you walk into the school. So it looks like it looks like utter shit. It looks like shit. I know that you want to do native plants because you're probably not here all summer. So then, like, no, I know, it looks like shit. I told him I would go out there and help him pick weeds, but then I saw it, and I was like, I can't decipher what you want me to do. And I told him, I was like, I was going to go home and get my electric weed whacker and just chop it all down. Because that just, yeah, it doesn't look good at all. I'm all about native plants, but in the right areas, in the right spaces. Yep. Yeah. There's just so many weeds in there. What they really need to do is they need to put a butterfly garden in there. That would benefit everybody at the school. It would be more science. Like, you need to put, like, milkweed in there, you know, and start a milkweed garden and put, like, you know, and that kind of stuff, because you wouldn't have to water that all summer either, because milkweed just, you know, it'd be fine. And then the butterflies could come. You could watch, you could, like, sit on the bench and observe. That's what they really need to do. But native plants in beds just does not. And he's just sitting out there. He's not. I don't know what the hell he's doing, but it's a mess. And I love native plants. Don't get me wrong. I think native plants should thrive. However, when they're in the front of the school, it just doesn't look good. Thank you guys for coming in. Appreciate you. Please make sure you give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. Thank you for coming in and hanging out with me this afternoon. So anyway, it's just, I looked at that and I couldn't believe it. I just wish that I could help with all the knowledge and stuff that I know, but I don't have a teaching certificate, so I wouldn't be able to do much with the kids. Hello, Uncle Al. Thank you for coming in. Appreciate you. Like I said, we're finally getting up there. I did a little short about how it was June 1st, and it was only 48 degrees here in Ohio yesterday. And Uncle Al posted and said, "Oh, it's like 108 degrees here today." Well, yeah, thanks, Uncle Al. But yeah, that was like the lowest temperature I ever remember it being for June 1st. So I blame it on England. and their stratosphere injections that they are trying to push on everybody. Not that I'm a big conspiracy theory person. I don't want to label myself as that, because usually conspiracy theory people are just really nutty. However, I do kind of have a conspiracy about the weather and what they're planning on doing. Okay, so I live in Ohio, where it's always constantly raining here. I think we actually get more rain than Seattle, Washington. This area, especially in Northeast Ohio, gets a lot of rain. So it's very rare that we would have wildfires, stuff like that. That's just not here. We live in a swampy, this is a swampy region. It rains here. We have a lot of vegetation, but it's just wet. And it's not wet all the time. I mean, I'm sure we've had our share of droughts, but it's not wet all the time, but it rains here quite a bit. And there's talking about some kind of fires or whatever coming from Canada now, and they're coming straight down through Ohio and all this. That does not make any sense whatsoever. We just had a weekend of rain, and I noticed that they're already trying to prepare us for wildfires, and I sure as hell hope we don't get any here, because it was maybe a month or so ago, I got a notification on my phone that Ohio could get some wildfires if we get a drought, if we get more droughts. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It just rained here for a week straight. So there's just some things that are just not adding up, and some things that don't make sense. And I don't know if they're trying to intentionally block out the sun or whatever, but it all affects us and how we grow things. Because I know the one year, as soon as we had all the wildfire smoke that came from Canada, I can't remember exactly where, but it came from Canada. We had it for months, and it put all my plants behind. Hello, Kevin. Yes, it's a little humid. It's 77 degrees. It said it was 80 earlier, so maybe it was just my car, but it was 77 degrees. Canada and Great Lakes region may get snow or a big hail. Yeah. Yes, but it's very rare in this area that we get wildfires. I mean, it would have to be it'd be a catastrophic thing. We wouldn't get any rain at all, which is it's a rarity that we get no rain. I can only count on my hand maybe a few times that we got exactly no rain. I'll never forget the one time we got no rain, and it was this entire section of the country. And it was when I was younger. I can't remember, my freshman year in high school. And I took my friend from Hungary and her dad to Washington, D.C. that year. And we took a bus and we went to Washington, D.C. and the mall was brown because everything was in a drought. Which is, it happens sometimes, but usually in this area it's just constantly raining. So it's not a thing here. And yeah, it is kind of humid. It's usually miserable, and there's mosquitoes, and it's just a miserable, it's very rarely that it's dry. It's not really a dry area. We had fires 3 years ago, had to evacuate for a month. It sucked. Where are you at, Kevin? Yeah, we don't get fires here typically. I know there's been a few years Florida has gotten fires and stuff like that, and I kind of expect that. Those areas get super hot. Oh, New Mexico, yeah. Just here, it's just not a thing. So if it's going to start being a thing, I think that's a problem. I think it's intentional. I don't know. That's just my theory on it.
No, but you can join the membership here for 99 cents a month.
and check it out. Thank you, though. I don't need an OnlyFans. It was so funny that you mentioned that because that's just not something I'm into. But my husband follows this woman who guys were always trying to get her to start an OnlyFans, and she's like, yeah, I'll start an OnlyFans, and she did, and she has a hearse, and she takes really good care of it, and all she does is take pictures of her hearse, and that's her OnlyFans. So I thought that was kind of funny. Thanks for taking care of that. Please, people watching, please make sure you give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. So I'm dwindling down here for the last few days that I won't be coming to work now for like 3 months, which will be really, really nice. Here, a state-controlled burn got out of control and burned. Oh, God, that's horrible. I really don't think, oh, man, they should not do controlled burns so much. We had them here in the spring, but a controlled burn here in the spring, the next day it's going to rain, so it's not really going to affect much. So I took a picture of some of the controlled burns because I drove past them and I was like, holy crap, the park's on fire. But it's not really a big thing here. I know some trees and stuff have to burn. They have to burn in order to reproduce. Which, that makes sense, but some of those fires are intentionally started, so it's pretty sad. So, yeah, it's just been, I just don't believe that. There's so many conspiracies out there, there's so many things, and some of them I don't believe it. I can't believe, you can't tell me that Ohio is having forest fires. That's nuts. We're just too wet for that. All right. So, yesterday my husband left the gate open, and all the chickens decided to come out of the gate, which is really, really funny because they've been really, really shy. Like, you can't go near them. They run from you. They've just been really super shy. So yesterday he left the gate open, and I have one duck left, and he's a Muscovy, and I named him Marvin. And he come out with the chickens like, what's going on? He's really stinking cute. I love ducks. It's windy in the spring here, so it made sense to have a controlled burn. A lot of solar activities in Ohio. Yeah. I've noticed that too. I guess yesterday you were supposed to be able to see the northern lights here. It's really weird because I guess you could see them all the way in Texas, which is totally something that doesn't normally happen. But I didn't stay up last night. I guess after 10 you could have saw them. But I didn't stay up and I didn't take any pictures or anything. I wanted to, but I was so sore from running around and doing stuff and walking up and down steps constantly yesterday, and I could barely walk by the time later on, so I just had to sit down and chill. Okay. I've been wanting to put chickens or bees, but can't decide which to do. I don't know what it's like in your state, but you can, I know my friend Tammy Rebel Canners, she has bees, and she gets a certain amount off on her taxes because she has bees. So that's something that you might want to look into, see what the thing is, though. I think you have to register your farm, and you have to register it with the state, which I'm totally against, to get those discounts. But that might be something that you might be interested, especially if you have chickens or something. The only thing is with that is it gives the state full reign to come onto your property to inspect and stuff like that. And really, honestly, I think that's none of their business. So that's why I haven't did it. But bees really are just amazing. So if you're going to garden, I even thought about renting out my property in the back to have bees. I really wanted to do that, and if someone is interested and lives in this area that wants to do it, like, just give us a couple jars of honey or whatever, and you can have free. I would love to have that. The benefits for my garden would be amazing. So, I mean, if they want to come here and have bees, they can, yeah, that's what I thought, Kevin. Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah. It's like, if somebody's really into it and you have the property, you'd be like, ask around. I even asked somebody, we did a farmer's market and there was a bee guy next to us. And I said, do you go to people's properties? Like, but he had enough property to where he's like, no, I don't do that, but I would love for someone, if they were just starting out, or if they needed the space or something like that, they could definitely come to my house, and we do organic gardening here and all of that stuff. So I would totally appreciate that. More bees you have, the better, especially honeybees. So yeah, and it just makes everything huge. It's amazing what exactly bees can do. I know the people that lived in the house before us, they had bees, and they had a hive, and my mom has this crabapple tree, and as soon as they got those bees, that crabapple tree is the biggest crabapple tree I think I have ever seen. It is humongous. So they just, bees do wonderful work, Yeah, they're really beneficial, especially if you garden. That's just like, that goes hand in hand. I really like chickens too, but they can cause a lot of issues. They can scratch a lot of things. You have to make sure they're in an area, because if not, like, they'll just wreck your garden and they'll get into things. I know I have those leghorns, and those leghorns are just freaking wild, and they get into everything. So far, that's really the only chicken that I've actually had that was like that. Most of them just kind of chill. I more go towards the Orpingtons and the Americanas and that kind of thing, because the leghorns were just too wiry, I don't know. They were just crazy birds. Yeah, chickens sting or swarm. That is the truth. But that's one thing, though. I am a little scared of bees. As far as touching them and stuff like that. I know there is, I don't know if you listen to Doug and Stacy at all. I know they do this thing with horizontal hives, and that seems like pretty cool idea. So if you get a chance, check out the horizontal hives and stuff like that. They're a lot less heavy, and you've got all your things right in front of you versus stacked and stuff like that. So that might be something that you might be interested in too. And it seems like really it seems easier to take care of. So something to think about. But yeah, bees are really super beneficial. And I would if someone wanted to do that on my property, I'd be like, yeah, come on out. You can have your bees here, totally, for sure. Yeah, that's something that you should probably think about too, Shawnee. I don't know how much you would run it for. I mean, it's really not that much of a space. They just need to have access to their hives. So, no, I don't think you can hide stolen cars. Sorry, rentals. They say it takes about a year for them to produce honey. Not sure, though. I don't know. I don't really know much about beehives. And that is also something that, I'm 99% sure you're going to want to, join a bee club if you really want to do that. They have clubs out there for beekeepers, because you're going to want to, educate yourself as much as you can on bees. And it can be quite expensive, too, to get started. But if you find someone, or if you or join a club, more than likely people will give you some stuff to get started, or sell you stuff for cheap, so you can get started. Yeah, for sure. You probably could. You could probably put an ad in the paper too or something. I don't know. Or on Facebook Marketplace, like, hey, I'm looking for someone that's interested in putting hives on my property. And, check with the local agriculture department. Boom! See? Uncle Al knows best. What's up, Happy Mac? I saw you come in. I thought I didn't see the owl part. I thought you said, "Hey there, Uncle." I didn't see the owl part. Gotta love Uncle Al. I don't know, but yeah, I was considering doing that. And I really love my chickens, and I really, what's really good, and we've done it before, is we bought a bunch of Muscovies, and I put them in my garden at the end of the year, and I let them get in there, and they ate bugs. They got into stuff. I was really happy about that. Muscovies are really great to have, and they really take care of the ticks and all the nasty critters you don't want in your garden. So one year we kept them in the garden, and they did really great. But over time, since they fly, we had a really hard time getting them back in and catching them. And I still have one left though, Marvin. Eventually we'll probably get more ducks because we really love having them. And it's so cool. It gets so relaxing to just have a little pond out there for them, and you sit and watch the ducks. It's so relaxing. It really is. It's something really cool to see. And Muscovies might not be the prettiest duck, but the friendliest. Yes. I had one that was super friendly. His name was Charlie, and he'd let me pet him and stuff like that. He was a really great duck. There is a snake that has moved into a small, humble garden. But yeah, Muscovies are really nice to have. I live not too far from an auction house where you could get birds and all different kinds of stuff. We went down for the Muscovies. It's about an hour and so away. Actually, it's near East Liverpool, where they had that train wreck that basically has completely destroyed the town with chemicals. It's kind of near there. So we'll go down there, and they have all these different, they had foxes for auction, they have all this stuff, and they had a yak. Okay, you guys, I love yaks. I think they're the coolest animal. It was just really cool. I couldn't believe that they actually had one. It was really neat. It was $800 though. Very expensive. I'm going to threaten the snake, move across the street to Ned's house, or I'll charge you rent. That's well, what kind of snake is it? If it's just a garter snake, you can pick that up and throw it. Throw it out of your garden. But if it's a poisonous snake or a copperhead or something, you definitely don't want that in your garden. Snaky bugs, the tiny critters that eat your garden. Yep. I think I'm going to just walk softly and see if we can garden together. Truth. I don't mind snakes. I really don't even mind spiders if they're going to be in the garden. I don't really have a whole lot of spiders in the garden, though. I really don't. They're more around the house. But, yeah. Spiders, snakes, all that kind of stuff, they really do. They help. They give purple pink milk. Just weird looking. I miss working at the zoo sometimes. Oh, yeah? I didn't realize that they give purple pink milk. That's kind of weird. I just remember, was it Chippendale Rescue Rangers, where the Monterey Jack, he rode on a yak, and he always, had cheese. I think that's it. I think that's where my obsession with yaks came from, is watching that cartoon when I was little. I just Yes. Oh my God. See, I was right. I just always loved them ever since then. And then one time, there's this place out in Austin town. It's near Youngstown, and I don't believe it's there anymore. I think COVID really killed it off. But it was like a drive-through like safari place, and they had camels, which you guys know I am obsessed with camels. I love them. Like, I think camels are my spirit animal. They had camels, they had giraffes. I'm trying to think. Camels, giraffes, yaks. They did have a couple baby ones. They had all different kinds of animals, and then they had zebras and ostriches. They put the zebras and the ostriches together because they are both very hostile animals. I didn't know that zebras were so mean, but I guess they really are. So they put the two hostile animals together, and that could hold their own. And feeding an ostrich was like, oh my God, I thought they were going to rip the bucket out of my hands because they hit the bottom of the bucket so hard with their beak. It was like nuts. But yeah, they had a camel. It was so funny. It followed us through the entire park, even where the places it shouldn't have been, and it kept sticking its head in the back of the van. It wasn't a van. It was like a big giant safari bus type thing. It kept sticking its head in there, like wanting more food, and I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is so adorable. And it was running to catch up with us. It was so cute. Camels running is freaking amazing. They're so cute. They're amazing. And yes, they have beautiful eyelashes. And so do alpacas. Alpacas, llamas, they all have those beautiful long eyelashes. Oh, Uncle Al, that's awful. Yeah, 98's pretty hardcore. That would be like in the middle of July, August here. So we haven't hit that yet. Bye, Uncle Al. See you later. It's 74 here, I guess. That's what my car is reading. It was 80 something when I got in, so I think maybe the temperature went down a little bit when I started driving around. So, but yeah. So I love camels. I love all that. By the way, I follow like all these animals on Facebook. They just give me such joy, and there are some animals like I really wish I could have. Like you always see people rescuing, especially right now, they rescue possums. Possums are so adorable to me. Like I really want one. But I just haven't even thought about it. Like they kind of look scary a little bit when you know, but there's been so many people that rescue them. They rescue the babies because the mother, got hit on the road or something like that. So, okay, I will have to do a tour of the garden once everything is in, but they're okay. They're just really suffering right now. I'm probably going to have to put some fertilizer in there and get that going. Because they're really suffering from all the rain that we had over the weekend, and then the temperature has just hit, like for the past couple weeks, it's just been so cold here. And so all of our tomatoes and stuff, we might not get that many this year since everything is really suffering. It's just nuts. But they're still there. Everything's still there. They're just smaller than normal. So the rain has just really screwed things up. But yeah, I got back on. I felt bad. I had to go into the school and pay my son's school fees, and I forgot to do that. So I had to run in, and I had already started my live. So I only did like a 16-minute live. So I felt really bad for doing that. So later on, around 3 o'clock that day, I did another live, and I did like my food forest and my garden a little bit. So if you can check that out, because I did like a little tour of everything that I have going on. I love possums. They hardly ever bite. Yes, here I just got another one. Canadian wildfire smoke covers eastern United States. mean, it's just getting out of hand, don't you think? Doesn't make sense to me. They are. I love possums. They hardly ever bite, and I'm talking about the wild ones. They just show their teeth because that's all they have for protection. I wish they lived longer. Yeah, I think they only live like a couple years or something like that. But the babies are so adorable. There was this one like video. It showed like a bunch of like different scenes of people rescuing possums, and the one possum was on a dog's back, and I just thought that was freaking hilarious. Like golden retrievers and stuff, they just have such good personalities. They seem like such a mommy dog. Like they want to take care of everybody. That's kind of how my standard poodle is. She's just laid back and chill, and she wants to take care of Fred, and she's just such a great dog. I kind of wish I would have let her have puppies, because I think she would just have been like such a great mom, you know. But yeah, she it just has such a laid back personality. So we have two dogs. We have a French bulldog and a standard poodle. And Ellie is the poodle, and I call her Smelly Ellie. And the other one I call Turd. So it's Turd and Smelly Ellie. But they both have real names. They just have nicknames, Turd and Smelly Ellie. And I call her Turd because she can be a turd. She gets into things. She eats on stuff. She's still kind of a puppy. She's 2, but she's still like, she gets into things. Every once in a while, she'll be chewing on something she shouldn't be chewing on. Or Ellie Mae will get into the trash and pull something out, and then she'll take advantage. Even though she's short, she can't, get into the trash. So she takes advantage of that situation. Or she blocks Ellie Mae from coming up on my lap. She gets real jealous. She don't like coming up on my lap. So I call her Turd. So it's Turd and Smelly Ellie. And the reason we call it Smelly Ellie, is not because she smells, because she loves the chickens, and she'll go out there and sniff their butts. She'll just go out there, and she can't see very well. She's an older dog. She's, I think, 8 years old now. She's like kind of can't see very well, and she goes out there and sniffs the chickens' butts, and the chickens are all like, "What are you doing? We don't socialize like that," And so we've always called her Smelly Ellie. Yeah. They're saying that we're supposed to have this haze for the next few weeks because of this fire, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. We just had a crap ton of rain, and now we're going to get this hazy crap, and our gardens are just going to be shit, which I think is why, or what they have in mind. I think they don't want you to grow your own vegetables. They don't want that. So what better way than to really screw up with the weather, right? That's just my conspiracy on it all. Whether or not it's true, I don't know, but you never know. At least we aren't choking from the smoke like the year before last. Oh yeah, that was horrible. Like you could barely go outside. And I'll never forget this, okay? So we had gotten new neighbors across the street, and they were burning something. And we're pretty far down from that. I mean, we're not like really far down. We were still getting the smoke, still getting the hazy stuff. But I go outside, and the entire like front yard is just hazy smoke, and I'm like, holy crap. I'm like, this fire is bigger than what I thought, because I live maybe about 5 hours away from Canada. And I was like, holy crap. Here it was the neighbor. They were burning some leaves or something like that. And I was like, okay, it's not near as bad as what I thought. I wear a tinfoil hat all the time. I don't underestimate the government or private entities from effing us over. Yeah, for real. Like, I would never 100% say, oh, trust the government. Trust them. I would never, ever, ever say that. I'm pretty skeptical about a lot of things. Not that I'm saying like I'm a huge conspiracy theorist, but you know what? A lot of conspiracies have came true, and the stuff that you're hearing right now is stuff that we have been talking about for years. So what is it really? Is it a conspiracy? Probably not. And most conspiracy theories turn out to be true. So I don't know. And there was that huge John F. Kennedy assassination thing that just came out, and everybody had the freaking conspiracy about that, about how it wasn't Lee Harvey Oswald and all that. And that just came out, and it basically said it was CIA. So, who knows? If they told me it was at nighttime, I'd wear sunblock. I don't believe them. Yeah. Yes. You're right, Happy Mac. We are on the same page. And I'm not like a weirdo about it or anything, but some people just like, oh, I don't believe in all that. And I'm like, yeah, but there's nothing out there that tells you that you should or shouldn't. Like, I definitely do believe in some of the stuff, you know? No one ever says you're right. Aw, I feel bad for you now. Aw. You're right. I should say it like every live now when you're here. Just be like, I'm letting you know, Happy Mac, that you're right. But yeah, so I always keep an open mind about things, you know, and always like, you know, I never say, no, that can't possibly, you know, because you never really know. And the stuff you're hearing about Joe Biden right now, we knew that for the past 4 years, that there was nothing upstairs, you know, and all this stuff is coming out, saying that he has cancer, but he probably knew, he knew a long time ago, and it just got worse over the years, and then they tried to cover it up, because it's embarrassing, you know, the stuff that he was doing. So they've tried to cover it up, and now it's coming out, and, you know, what are you going to do? So, not that I'm diving deep into that either, but half the stuff that you hear out there is true. 42 minutes I've been on here, so I want to thank you guys for coming in and hanging out and doing all that stuff. I'm sure I will have more shorts because it's a beautiful day today, so I'll have more things to take pictures of and more things to talk about and stuff like that. When it's raining out, like, what am I going to do? Take a picture of the rain? It's just been horrible. I got into a conspiracy dialogue this morning over why there's so damn many car washes being built. Interesting. I noticed that too. And in my area, there's like a specific area that we can go, where we can go shopping, or like there's like a Walmart, but there's like a bunch of like stores and stuff around it. And there's freaking 2 car washes. And I'm like, why do we need 2 car washes in this small ass town? Like, we don't need that. But yeah, there has to be something up with that too. Because not only that, like I can drive 5 or 6 minutes away and go to another car wash. And they're not just like those little hometown car washes where you just drive through. No, these are the big conglomeration, the ones where you walk, or you can drive all the way through and then you can vacuum out your car. Like, I appreciate it, but yeah, it is kind of weird that there's so many of them. But I do love those big car washes. I take my car through there like maybe once every couple weeks, and then they have the free vacuum, and I just vacuum out my car right there, and I don't have to bring out my shop vac. I don't have to do any of that at home. I could just do it there. They even have like washcloths and stuff, so you can wipe everything off. They have the pledge. They have everything. And it's like, oh, okay, I'll do that. But yes, there is a ton of car washes. Rants in Your Pants Tuesday topic. 1,800 people in the next town over. 4 car washes. Cost $17 million to build one. That is nuts. Wow, 4 car washes? You don't really need that. That's nuts. I never even thought about that. That's crazy. Yeah, you definitely don't need that. I forget where it was. I think it was here. I had someone in here from England. And they were talking about how car washes are not a thing there. And that you pay someone, they will detail your car or whatever, but car washes are not a thing there. Here in America, car washes are a thing. Like, anywhere that you can go through the drive-through, that would be here. Like, We have drive-through convenience stores. You can get a gallon of milk. We have drive-through liquor stores, drive-throughs for fast food. We have drive-throughs for car washes. We just, we honestly, we would never have to get out of the car. We got it for everything. We even have those coffee huts. By the way, we have one here, and I hate the name of it. Of course, there's Starbucks, but we have like a smaller coffee huts, and I think they're really popular in Alaska. But it's called the Human Bean, and I hate the name of it. I get why it's called the Human Bean, but it is a horrible name for a coffee place. I'm like, what the hell is wrong with these people? But yeah, they just serve straight up coffee. That's it. So I'm watching my son go crazy over water right now. Oh my God, he's going to be a wet mess when he gets into the car. They're having a good time. One company owns two, and a different company owns the other two. Craziness. No one is ever there. Did they get huge gifts of money during the Big C? Only built since 2021. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Well, you know how I feel about the Big C. And, by the way, anytime when there's money involved, people are evil. Okay? So hospitals were getting, I forget how much it was. It was like $18,000 to $26,000 per person they were getting from the government when people died of the Big C in the hospital. So the hospitals then were like, what can we get from the government? So, you died of a heart attack? No, you died of the Big C. And so that's how they were getting tons of money. The hospitals were, getting tons of money because they were writing off everybody saying that they had the Big C when they didn't. And I know that lots of people, I know my uncle died during that time period, and they wrote him off as having the Big C when he didn't have the Big C. So that's just, interesting. Anytime when there's money involved and there's lots of things, there's just a paper trail for people to take advantage of the system and take advantage of it. I forget what it was that Chelsea Clinton had a freaking foundation, and it made me absolutely sick. It was like $1 million of money had been wasted, and only like $1,800 or something went to an African village. I mean, it was just nuts. So anytime when there's big money, they take a huge chunk of it for themselves, and then, $450 will go to help the homeless or something like that. That's why I really, unless I'm actually doing it myself and I see where it's hitting, where it's helping people, I don't give my money away to anybody because I don't trust them. Anytime when there's big money, like Goodwill is a really good example of that, I think. They take in a lot of crap from people, and they turn around and they sell it for big money, and they say they're helping people when really they're getting their crap for free because people just go and donate their crap. I know one time I went in there and they had these huge, you remember those 1970s lamps that had the huge balls, and then they had the round lampshade, and it was beautiful. These lamps were just absolutely gorgeous, and I was like, wow, I would love to have those. It's just so retro, so cool. So we go in there and I take a look, and they wanted fucking $60 for these lamps. And I'm like, I could just go to Lowe's and buy $60 for 2 lamps right now, brand spanking new. That's a problem. And it's pretty sad when poor people can't shop at the Goodwill anymore. They have to go somewhere else. Or, like, you can buy your jeans and stuff at other outlet locations a lot cheaper than you can buy at the Goodwill. So it just it makes me kind of sick, and it makes me sad. Yes, and it's like two separate companies. One helps people, but the other fills pockets. Truth. So I don't shop there anymore. I used to shop there all the time for like little things here and there. I love to go and look. You never know. I love to go and look, but I don't shop there anymore because, you know, it just makes you mad. It makes you mad. So I am pretty thrifty though. I mean, I do watch that kind of thing. I know the one leather couch I have is a very expensive leather couch. I got it from somebody else. And then, you know, so I'm thrifty. I don't donate my money to people that their president makes $1 million or so a year. Don't worry about that guy because he's gone. I just hit him from the channel. No big deal. Oh my God! This. Hello, Hendo. By the way, I know you live in England, and I was blaming England on all the crappy weather that we were having here. So yeah. Thanks for coming in. Hello, H8. HH8. Thank you for coming in. So anyway, I just really watch where I donate my money. And I'm you know, I don't know. When I lived in this city, there was homeless people everywhere and whatnot. So like, I would, like, if I got something to eat, I would get a couple extra cheeseburgers. I would give it to the homeless guy on the street. Like, I'm just that kind of person. Like, I help people, but I'm not going to help a company make millions of dollars off of the stuff that I paid for, and then I'm giving the company for free. Like, yeah, true that. I wish they would donate $100. Oh my gosh, this person is the same. Thank you. They've been commenting on my shit for the longest time, and they never leave. Never leave. They're like a weird bot. I don't know what they do, but they're freaking weird. I'm like, what a freaking disgusting person. So, Hendo, where have you been, huh? Oh, Lord. My hand is starting to hurt. Sorry, guys. I'm watching my son splash around in water. And, like, anytime there's water, like, he can't avoid it. He's like, oh, splash. Oh, and they have, like, one of those things where they fill it up with water, and then they splash them. Oh, God, he's going crazy over it. For sure. Okay. So, listening to Vanilla Ice. Oh, Ice Ice Baby. Yeah, why didn't you just donate $100? I could have used that money for my farm. Goofballs. Oh my God, what the hell? Hold on, don't anybody touch him. I'm hiding him from the channel. We're good. Don't anybody touch him. We're good. He's gone forever, maybe. I don't know about that. Unlike all of those people, except for four could be him. It's okay. I would just take care of it. When I do this kind of live like this, you get more trolls, but you still see my Facebook posts? Aw, that's good. I'm just, I'm all over the place on Facebook. I follow, by the way, I told my husband, I said, I want to get, this is totally off subject, but I follow this one guy who has this cutest turtle I have ever seen in my life. He's adorable. His name's Otis. And he always is looking at his owner. Like, he looks up at him. Like, this turtle is so involved. Like, he knows, it's almost like he knows what you're saying. He's smart. Like, you can talk to him. Like, if he could talk back, he would be the coolest turtle. And I told my husband, I said, I want to get a tortoise, but I would have to have it written in my will for somebody to take him, because they can live up to like 100+ years, you know. I'm like, I always wanted those ones where like they run after you and stuff. I'm like, that'd be so cute. I would love to have one, but I don't know. Someday. I love all animals, and my problem is I can't have them all. You know, like, I really wanted a donkey for the longest time, and I had to really think about it, because donkeys can live like a really long time, and you'll be like 65 still taking care of your donkey, and you don't have a farm anymore, you know. And so those little things are really. I watched the Chinese turtle who's in love. He goes fast after the cat because he has a tiny skateboard. That's adorable. A teenage ninja turtle, Corky? Maybe. That'd be cool if they ate a lot of pizza. I'd be down. Oh, that's funny. I really love the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but I don't like the cartoons. I like the old school ones from like the 80s, maybe early 90s. I think maybe it's early 90s. They are great. The one that Vanilla Ice did the soundtrack for, Hendo. Those are my favorites. They're perfect. They're what you think turtles should be, you know, and it's awesome. And I love Splinter, like the old school. I don't want the early 1990s. Exactly. I don't want like cartoon Splinter or like AI imposed Splinter. I want him in that costume, and I want that back. I do. I want that back. And Howard the Duck. Bring back Howard the Duck. You know what's funny is, if you go back and you watch those, I've watched Howard the Duck like soon after, like when I was an adult, and I was like, holy crap, my parents let me watch this, because it was dirty. And when you're little, you don't catch those little innuendos, and we're like, holy crap, that movie's actually really dirty. And I can't believe I watched that. Yeah, those movies are classic. It's just like, it's like the original Ghostbuster movies, which are my favorite. I'm a huge Dan Aykroyd fan. Freaking love him. His parents were spiritualists, and he is really into he's into everything weird, and I love that about him. And I just think he's a really cool dude. And he does like History Channel stuff every once in a while. Same. I want the Godzilla who gets mad and stomps his feet, and you can see the zipper in the truth. I want to see that, because it just brings me back. And I don't know. Sometimes when you CGI or AI or whatever they're using now, you can do it too much, and then it doesn't look real. It looks, I don't know. I just want old school, you know? And I think maybe at some point in time, maybe they'll bring that back because it'll get popular again or something. I don't know, maybe. But I just think it's amazing. Yeah, the good old days, for real, for real. When I was younger, I just feel like we didn't have to worry about so much crap, and I don't know, it's like things are just slowly get worse. I don't know. Something to think about for today, I guess. But yeah, so when I think about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I think about all that stuff. Like, I just loved it. Just loved it. I one time went on a Dan Aykroyd, like, spree and watched, like, almost all of his movies. There was movies I'd never seen before, and I was like, oh my god, I can't believe he did that movie. It's freaking funny. Like, I know he did Coneheads and stuff, but it's like, you know, there's movies that he did, I was just like, whoa, this movie's really dumb, but I'm watching it anyway. Yeah, AI does creep me out now. They make people look so real, but you can kind of tell it's a cartoon. Ghostbusters is my number one favorite. I own, like, all the Ghostbuster movies. One, I don't speak German. No spreche the Dutch. And I'm not doing that. I don't have a tongue ring, so you freaking weirdo. So, Auf Wiedersehen. Boom. Sorry, because of all this going on and this stuff going in the air, allergies. Okay, we're good now. Okay, we're good. I only know a few words in German, and I know my entire family was German. My great-grandma came from Germany. My grandpa came from Austria. And so, you know, my entire family was German. And purebred German, like, they didn't marry outside of their German race. And so I grew up with a lot of German foods, and you know, in the German language. And my stepdaughter, she loves German. She's been to Austria multiple times, and and Scotland and whatnot. She's traveled a lot. So German, I think, is her second language, which I'm very proud of her, because now she has 2 bachelor's degrees, and she's going for her doctorate, and she just accepted a position with Yale, and she's moving to Alaska, working with indigenous artists. So I'm proud of her. She's really coming into her own and becoming quite interesting person. So mine too, Hendo. I could say something naughty, never mind me. German ancestors, but also come from Cherokee ancestors. Ooh, me? No. I was adopted. I have maybe a little bit of German. I'm Irish and English. And I might have Native American somewhere along my line. But I was adopted, so. So I don't know about all that. But yeah, so I grew up with, you know, my great grandmother and my grandma and stuff who were German. So I know cuss words. And then my Uncle Tony Anton, he was from Germany. He actually fought in World War II on the German side. He moved here to America and started a whole new life here. And so my family is German, mainly, except for me and my brother. One might think my brother is German. He just found out that he was German. He had to do a lot of research. My brother and I are not related, but we were both adopted. My brother is completely opposite of me and is really dark complected. He's very dark. And so all of his life he grew up thinking that he was like Mexican or Filipino or something like that. And then he went and did a DNA test and found out that he's like German, and he is mainly from like southern Germany, which that's why he's so dark complected and stuff like that. So it's very interesting. Yeah, so, and there for a while, Tammy was helping me with my DNA stuff and stuff like that. I do have a cousin who was going to find out some more information this weekend because she was coming up here from Florida and was visiting with her sisters. They were trying to find out where I came from, like where I'd fit in with their family, because I found her on 23andMe. And we had been talking ever since, but we don't know how we're cousins. We don't know who we're exactly related to. It's just, we just know that we're, that we're cousins. So, yeah, so it's quite interesting. And then, of course, down the road, I am related to Loretta Lynn. And my cousins that I had met had lived next door to Loretta Lynn, and their families were intertwined, and so I am related to her. I think she's like my third or fourth cousin. And I'm related to Johnny Cash and that family, and Ricky Skaggs. I'm related to Ricky Skaggs. There's just a bunch of cool stuff that I have found out throughout the years. And I know I'm related to the Cash family because I have a ton of Cashes that came up in my 23andMe. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I have no idea exactly where I fit in with that. So I just think that's really, really interesting, though. Yeah. Cool stuff. Someday I'll know more, but I don't have the money. And what's really frustrating, though, about finding out my history and where I come from and stuff like that, it's really frustrating because nobody wants to tell you anything. So I find people and I'm like, hey, I was adopted this and this and this, and I tell them my information. Okay, I thought he was just going to run over his cone, but instead he's mowing the grass. Okay. So, it's really hard because people are like, either one, they're really hostile, like, because they do not want to tell you anything about themselves, or they don't know anything and they won't talk to you anymore. Like, I came across some really weird people that have really want nothing to do with you. And it's frustrating because all you have to do is tell me, I think we're all old enough. So if something did happen back in the past and there's a big secret, I think we're all old enough that we need to, come to a conclusion here, or, whatever. I gotta go. My son's out and I didn't realize how late it was. Thank you guys for stopping.